There's one thing on the minds of everyone who wears a Nuggets uniform. Everyone who's a part of the coaching staff and a part of this team knows that this year can only end one way, and that's with a parade in downtown Denver, Colorado. The expectations are as high as they can be, yet we all enter this year with a confidence that we haven't felt since 2023. What has Nuggets Nation feeling like this team is not only a contender, but the real deal? What can ensure a title for the Denver Nuggets, and who needs to be the best version of themselves for us to be back on parade? It's finally here, Nuggets Nation. Welcome to the start of the NBA season, and welcome to the Mile High Nugget Mine. The life of an NBA team is an unpredictable one. One second you're at the top of the mountain, popping champagne like it's your birthright. And the next you're at the very bottom in the lottery system, praying you find that catalyst again. That player who can turn your entire fortunes around. Some can do it consistently, some get lucky. Some buy their way into contention, and others are still waiting for that lucky break. The Denver Nuggets were one of those teams, until they drafted the highly sought-after second-round 41st pick Nikola Jokic, the player that everyone projected to be a top 5 player in his class, and of course soon to be the best player in the world. All jokes aside, this is exactly what I mean by sometimes teams get unbelievably lucky. What followed was a long journey of drafting players, organically growing them, and bringing in veteran free agents to ensure the process went smoothly, winning and losing and acquiring scars that eventually led to the team's first NBA championship in 2023. But since then, this team has been nothing short of a behind-the-scenes train wreck. In 2024, as the Denver Nuggets look to defend their title, issues surrounding their depth and overall vision for the team were quietly creating a divide that would eventually be irreparable. The Nuggets made an end-of-the-season push for the first seed in the West, and after a physically and emotionally taxing first-round win over the LA Lakers, signs of exhaustion began to show. The Nuggets would lose in a second-round matchup to the Timberwolves in 7 games, blowing the biggest Game 7 lead in NBA history. In this series, it all began to collapse. The lack of depth and the coach's distrust for his young bench led to everyone playing long minutes. Their effort was nowhere near where it needed to be, and players grew frustrated. Some literally threw in the towel, while others could do nothing but watch as their team got bounced at home. In 2025, the Nuggets ran into the same issues as the season went along. The bench had its issues, players were suffering with small nagging injuries, and although the win totals looked nice, something just felt off. And the owner, Josh Kroenke, he noticed it as well. In a shocking move, the Nuggets fired both GM Calvin Booth and head coach Michael Malone 3 games before the end of the regular season, promoting their then assistant coach, David Adelman, to the interim head coach for the final 3 games and the playoff run of that season. After an exciting 7-game series against the Clippers, the Nuggets took on the eventual champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, in the second round. And in a shocking turn of events, the Nuggets were actually 1 game short of reaching the Western Conference Finals. Ultimately, the Thunder's depth and defense were too much for the Nuggets to handle in a 7-game series, and once again, the Nuggets found themselves out in the second round for the second year in a row. In the turmoil of losing their head coach and GM, the Nuggets found a way to push the best team in the league to 7 games. It was clear this team is still a champion. They just needed to make some more changes. And make some changes they did. After appointing David Adelman as the full-time head coach, promoting Ben Tenzer and adding Ben Wallace to their front office, that squad went into full chef mode. MPJ was shipped to Brooklyn for Cam Johnson, fan favorite and NBA champion Bruce Brown came back in free agency. The Nuggets were able to sign Tim Hardaway Jr. and trade for a reliable backup center in Jonas Valanciunas. With less than a week in their new positions, the Nuggets front office took this team from a top-heavy squad to a well-rounded juggernaut. New head coach David Adelman would clean house, bringing in a new coaching staff featuring former players JJ Barea and Jared Dudley, and telling fans and media to expect changes on both sides of the basketball. A new era of Nuggets basketball is around the corner. So why is this team and fan base so confident that this year is a title year? Well, for the first time in the Jokic era, this team has legitimate depth. A 10-man rotation is almost expected to start the year, and the reduction of long minutes for your starters will go a long way when playoff basketball starts. The team is also more veteran now. It went from having to rely on third-year players making meaningful impacts to having seasoned vets with finals experience. A traditional big man will back up Jokic for the first time since Boogie Cousins back in 2022. This team's starting 5 rivals any in the NBA. But that's rarely enough if you want to win a championship. Now their one glaring weakness is nowhere to be found. The words culture problem and Denver Nuggets once felt like they were never going to be used in the same sentence. But the Malone and Booth fallout proved that it was very possible. A casualty of this toxicity was the Nuggets' desire and effort to play basketball. It was written on some of the players' faces. Their minds were in March and April in the middle of December. The message of Michael Malone had grown stale, and the agenda-driven backstabbing of Booth made some of the players feel unwanted. But that fallout deserves its own video, so we'll get to that some other time. With a new sheriff in town, and the front office being present and empowering their players, there seems to be a new energy surrounding the team. An energy that screams we're hungry again, we're focused again, we're going to be champions again. And nowhere is that more evident than with Jamal Murray. Someone who also deserves more time, but we'll give him some praise here. He was one of those players that seemed to have lost that competitive spark. Injuries didn't help, but Jamal hadn't looked the same since winning a championship. Something changed when Malone and Booth were let go. He was more present during the offseason. He was working out with his new teammates and beating the out-of-shape allegations while doing it. During his preseason games, he moved with an attitude and intensity that you really only got to see in late March and April. He looks refocused and revitalized. Everyone knows Jokic is the best player on this team. But the one that can push him over the line is Jamal Murray. An engaged Jamal is dangerous for the NBA and is the difference maker for the Denver Nuggets. The NBA season's back, and the Nuggets find themselves in familiar territory. Not picked as anyone's favorite nationally, respected, but not necessarily feared, doubted because of the last few years' struggles. Good thing no one loves proving everyone wrong more than this team. Do not wait for someone to give it to you. Do not hesitate. Take it. This year there is only one outcome that can be called a success, and that is hoisting your second Larry O'Brien trophy. This is going to be a fun year to be a Nuggets fan. The NBA regular season starts now. Hey YouTube, how's it going? Name's Alex. I sometimes upload here whenever I find time to do so. I love to make these sort of videos. It just takes a lot of time and effort. Thankfully, I have a little bit of time right now, and no better time to get right back into making these videos than right before the start of the Denver Nuggets season. We're officially a day away from that right now. Hopefully I got this video out on time and that's not going to have to be re-recorded. I hope that was good enough to earn at least a like from you, and if not, maybe a subscribe as well. I don't really do this for anything other than the love of the Denver Nuggets, the love of the game. But yeah, thanks so much for giving it a watch. I really appreciate it. Any sort of feedback or comments would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much, guys. Hopefully I'll be seeing you soon in the next one.